something unusual happened in Melrose. A small group of people a lot like us, discovered or learned that domestic violence was happening in our peaceful little city, that it does not discriminate, and though hidden from view, that it lived with us here in our community. Those ordinary folks decided that they had to do something to help, and they took action with hope in their hearts, a hope for a future where domestic violence was no more. The Melrose Alliance Against Violence was born from that hope. And we, all of us here in this room, 30 years later, we are the legacy of that hope. One of the earliest actions designed to bring awareness to the cause was the very first walk. And so it's my honor to welcome you to the 30th annual Walk to End Domestic Violence. Today we gather as a community, and together we hold this space for many things. We gather to remember those lost to domestic violence. At the same time, we gather to celebrate those who found their way out of profoundly difficult circumstances. And together we support those who still struggle. And we acknowledge the work of the past 30 years. Work that continues as we strive to realize the vision of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence, a future free from violence for all. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge those who have put a lot of time and effort into making this walk happen. Please stand or wave your hand if you're on the Walk Planning Committee, the Student Action Board, or the MAAV Board of Directors. We'd particularly like to acknowledge the MAAV staff, who every year, without fail, do the heavy lifting to make this event happen. Beyond the day-to-day work of MAAV, which comes with its own gravity, these folks do so much behind the scenes to make this event happen, and the fact that it goes off every year without a hitch lies squarely with them. So I'd like to say thank you to Mary Beth, Christina, Allie, and Meredith. We'd like to extend a big thank you to all of our sponsors. There's a full list in the brochure and on the MAAV website. In particular, we'd like to thank our community champions, Brickpoint Properties, and Mystic Valley Sexual Health. We'd also like to thank Stevens Auto Body and Lee and Taylor Tinmouth for being our hometown heroes for this milestone walk. In the event program, there are many other individuals, companies, and groups contributing in many ways to today's event. Please support those who support MAAV, thank them for helping the cause, and go help their businesses as well. And everyone here, every dollar raised for this event goes to the prevention programs and support that MAAV has built over the years. And every contribution is so deeply appreciated. Every one of you has made a difference by showing up today. When we stand together against violence, it has an impact. So don't doubt for one moment that you've given to the cause. You are here, and that is so valuable. So thank you all. So 2025 has been a year of big changes for MAAV. This summer, we welcomed a new executive director to our MAAV family, and it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce her now. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Meredith Shaw.
Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon. I echo Jen's sentiments in gratitude for you all to be here with us today. I am honored to stand here before you as Melrose Alliance Against Violence Executive Director in our 30th year, continuing the critical work of supporting and honoring survivors, promoting the prevention power of healthy relationships education, and striving to create a world everyone deserves, one free of domestic violence. I imagine it's not lost on any of us that here in this space, we hold two realities. We hold grief and we hold hope. And they're here with us, existing side by side. Grief for the 11 lives lost this past year in Massachusetts to domestic violence homicide. We remember each one lost, each life precious, worthy, irreplaceable, knowing their absence leaves a void in the hearts of those who loved them that will never go away. We will speak their names, we will carry their stories, we will not forget. And in our remembering, we will also remember our shared responsibility to build a world where love is never violent, and every person can live and love in safety and dignity. As we gather here, we too hold hope. Hope. Not a shallow, fragile optimism that everything will turn out well with thoughts and prayers, but a deep, rooted, tenacious hope that this work we do and the actions we take together to end domestic violence matter. We are fueled by the hope that one day we will not have to gather here. Abuse thrives in isolation. Domestic violence is everyone's business. Community is the solution. Every candle we light, every step we take together is a promise to survivors and a promise to ourselves and each other and those who come after us that this world we imagine is possible, and the relentless pursuit of it and the intentional effort and action to create it is worth it. We are worth it. Like you, MAAV believes change is possible. We believe in a now and a tomorrow where children will grow up learning that love means respect, where no partner lives in fear and every family feels safe with each other in their own homes, where relationships are generative, fulfilling, expansive, and healthy, and youth have the tools and the knowledge they need to build them and end them when needed. The candles we hold and the light they generate remind us of our collective hope, and together in community our light multiplies. 30 years ago and every year since, MAAV and our community light that candle of hope. And today, each of us carry that candle flame forward. Let us remember the 11 lives lost. Let us honor every survivor. Let us celebrate this community of care that refuses to turn away, refuses to give up. Together, let us walk forward, carrying both grief and hope, step by step, toward creating the world that we know is possible, a world free of domestic violence, the world everyone deserves. At this time, I'd like to invite our Vigil readers up to begin our vigil. Since our vigil last October, 11 people lost their lives due to domestic violence in our state. We remember them and honor them today. And Representative Lippert-Garabedian is going to begin our vigil.
Unnamed woman, age not released, of Worcester, was killed on November 7th, 2024.
Unnamed woman, age 21, of Chicopee, was killed on November 26, 2024.
Melissa Janvier Pablo, age 32, of Chelsea, was killed on December 6th, 2024.
Chantel Gillespie, age 30, of Boston, was killed on December 12th, 2024.
Rose Jessie Lamore, age 25, of Milton, was killed on June 13th, 2025.
Uriah Santos, age 18, of Brockton, was killed on June 18th, 2025.
Rose Lacroix, age 36, of Mattapan, was killed on June 30th, 2025.
Kylie Montero, age 18, of Attleboro, was killed on August 6, 2025.
Marie Hunt, age 35, of Raynham, was killed on August 8, 2025.
Karine Asandrian, age 35, of Watertown, was killed on August 31st, 2025.
Nadia Abrahamian, age 80, of Watertown, was killed on August 31st, 2025.
At this time, we invite you to turn on your candles if you have them. We'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor and remember all those who have lost their lives or have been victims of domestic violence this past year. Thank you.
Earlier this year, the Melrose High School video interns and Mr. D helped create a video about MAAV's first 30 years. We would like to invite you to watch this video with us now.
The Melrose Alliance Against Violence was founded in 1995, and it really started out as a grassroots movement to provide support to survivors of domestic violence. Our mission is to provide awareness and education around domestic and teen dating violence, and we do this through education, support, and outreach to survivors. We work in our schools with families, with law enforcement, and city leaders, really with anyone who shares our commitment to promoting healthy relationships. From youth prevention programs and educational workshops to support groups and survivor advocacy, we're here to listen, to support, and to end the cycle of abuse before it begins. As we mark 30 years of this work, we're also celebrating the thousands of people who have stood with us. Our community has helped us into who we are today.
I'm Eileen Hamblin. I'm one of the founders of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence. In the year 1995, the State League of Women Voters studied domestic violence, and the Melrose League followed suit. The study was eye-opening because none of us realized how many restraining orders there were in Melrose. Once the study was complete, the League could vote to take a stand on an issue. In this case, several members of the League formed a committee to investigate what action we would take in response to the results of the study. We met frequently and hashed out ideas and decided to form an organization to tackle domestic violence through study and action. Well, there were several League members on that first board of directors. An effort was made to include appropriate stakeholders in the community, like members of the clergy, the Melrose Police Department, some city leaders, and others. The board quickly realized there were functions that volunteers couldn't adequately perform. Fundraising, grant writing resulted in a search for a director, and fortunately, Rebecca Mooney accepted. The board couldn't have made a better choice.
I'm Rebecca Mooney, and I served as the Executive Director of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence for 25 years, from 1997 to 2022. So I was hired as the program coordinator in 1997, just at 10 hours a week, and the organization had really just launched a board of directors that was made up from the schools, the clergy, the hospital, the police, and they formed the board of directors and had done some community awareness events. They had started the annual walk, actually. That was one of their first things that they did. My background was really in working with the youth in prevention. So the first things that I did were to go into the schools and to propose some education programs, both at the middle school and at the high school. And then in 2004, we received a federal grant for youth violence prevention. And that enabled us to expand on what we were already doing with teen dating violence prevention, and we added bullying prevention and the mentoring program. And that was just a huge leap forward for MAAV because it was just me for those first few years, and I was able to hire an administrative assistant, a bullying prevention coordinator, and a mentoring program coordinator. In 2010, there was an anti-bullying law that was passed, and all schools were required to offer trainings for their staff and programs for students. Over the next couple of years, we made concentrated efforts to do that and worked with over 30 other school systems. In 2012, we received another federal grant for preventing teen dating violence and sexual assault, and that was called the STEP grant. Because of all the things we were doing, I guess, our grant advisor chose us to speak at the White House. This was 2013, and it was part of Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And when they invited me, I said, can I bring a student? Because I really believe in student voices, and I knew that he would have probably more of an impact than me. Zeke Viner at the time was just an incredible student leader, and so he came with me, we both spoke. They played our video, and it was really a high point. So Joan Bell was the president of the board of MAAV for 20 of the 25 years that I served as executive director. So we worked just hand in hand, so closely together. And we were very different people, but we just had tremendous love and respect for each other. She sadly passed away very suddenly just a couple months ago, and those of us that knew Joan are still just grappling with the tremendous loss. She was a doer and a leader, and with her signature, "How are we? How we doing?" she just made everybody around her feel good and feel glad to be a part of MAAV. She was the superintendent of the Parks Department for the city of Melrose, so her connections with the city, with City Hall, with sports teams, all of that was of tremendous value. And really, just the organization would not be what it is today without Joan Bell. MAAV has just grown and expanded in so many ways over the years, but always stayed true to the original mission that small group of people had at the very beginning to work to stop domestic violence. We started a support group for survivors that was really thanks to a survivor on our board.
My name is Karen Willis. I am a physical therapist. I have a master's degree in public health. I've been in the healthcare field for 35 years, and I have been on the board of directors for the Alliance Against Violence for 15. During my tenure, I have also been an active member of the WALK Committee and the mentoring program. As a 25-year survivor of domestic violence, I believe my personal journey has provided a unique and valuable perspective to the board. In the difficult initial period following my former spouse's arrest, my job in Boston allowed me easy access to the crucial support group services of Haven at Mass General. It was only later, as I began my advocacy, that I realized how fortunate I had been. I discovered that the nearest support groups to Melrose were located in Salem and Somerville. The access to a support group made an immeasurable difference in my case, providing the strength I needed to begin my journey towards survivorship, a path I believe would have been much longer without that support. One of my primary goals upon joining the board was to establish a local weekly support group for victims and survivors of domestic violence. I'm incredibly proud that this vision became a reality in 2012. This group continues to offer invaluable validation and encouragement to its members, creating a vital space where individuals with similar experiences can connect and know that their feelings and perceptions of abusive situations are valid.
When I first started at MAAV, my passion was really working with youth and youth leadership development. So when we had our board meetings, I said, we really need some students on the board. We need student representation. Kind of thought more about it after a year or two and said, you know what, they really need their own group. So we kept student representation on the board, but we formed a group and we called it the Student Advisory Board. So the idea was they would advise us on things. Well, after a couple years of that, we changed the name to Student Action Board because they really became a force in and of themselves. And really our philosophy all those years was that students are capable, they're resourceful, and they're the best messengers for educating their peers.
My name is Joe Perillo. I am a guidance counselor at Melrose High School, and I'm finishing my 20th year as one of the advisors to the Melrose Alliance Against Violence Student Action Board. I think Student Action Board is one of the most unique groups in MHS. Having a student leadership board comprised of a diverse group of student leaders is the best way to address the issues of dating violence prevention and to find ways to help promote healthy relationships. I'll put out a notification to all 9th grade students that any student is interested in becoming part of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence Student Action Board. Anywhere from 25 to 40 students apply, so it's a really popular opportunity for students. And after an interview process, we'll select 9 student leaders that we're going to invite to join the program. And then those students will stay part of the program for 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. The idea is that we want the students to be accountable to the group. We want them to be committed to the program. We want them to go through an appropriate amount of training so that they are comfortable with our topics, and that they're also accountable to each other.
My name is Sid McQuaid. I'm a senior at Melrose High School, and I'm a current member of the Student Action Board. I chose to apply because I saw the freshman seminar presentations, and I thought the teachings of MAAV were pretty important, especially for people my age, and I just felt that it was a good message that they were spreading. It's been a great opportunity for myself to learn and spread the teachings of MAAV as well. I would just say to put yourself out there and be passionate. That's kind of how I got in the Student Action Board. I was in the WALK Committee for 2 years, and there were a lot of alums and just adults in the community who wanted to help out, so I hope I'm going to be able to do that. I'm pretty confident I will.
My name is Maria Drago, and I was a member of the Student Action Board from 2014 to 2017 at my time at Melrose High School, and I'm now a part of the Board of Directors. I feel like MAAV has given me some great resources to be able to identify if there's an issue in a relationship and someone needs my assistance. I'm able to look at it with a careful eye and be able to help in a way that isn't too intrusive, but they're still feeling supported. And I feel like I've gotten great communication skills as well. Being able to go into the classrooms really gave me an opportunity to learn my presentation skills and work with individuals at a young level. As social social media usage has grown and we are able to see just how widespread the issue of domestic violence is, it reinforces the importance of why we do what we do. My eyes are very early on open to the fact that there is an issue that even our small city of Melrose deals with, and that I can make an impact on at least one person's life. That means a lot to me.
We're proud of what we built together and even more excited for what's to come. Outside of the work in the schools and with survivors, MAAV's presence is felt in the community throughout the year. MAAV has 3 long-standing events that we put on annually. White Ribbon Day is held in front of City Hall each March as part of a larger international campaign that calls upon all male-identifying people to stand up and be counted as allies, taking a pledge that they will never commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women or girls. Members of the Student Action Board lead the pledge and raise the flag as community members join together to take a stand against all forms of gender-based violence. The Voices Against Violence Community Coffee House is presented each spring and welcomes performers of all ages to share their talents with the community as a way to show support towards efforts to break the cycle of violence. The event is always multi-generational and all proceeds directly benefit Student Action Board programming. The annual Candlelight Vigil and Walk to End Domestic Violence is MAAV's longest standing and largest fundraising event. Held in October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, the event begins with a solemn vigil to honor all those who have lost their lives due to domestic violence in Massachusetts during that year. Following the vigil, attendees participate in a 2-mile walk through the center of Melrose to unite as a community to stand with those affected by domestic violence and to advocate for a future free from abuse. MAAV has also been fortunate to be the recipient of proceeds donated by the Melrose Running Club from their very popular Mother's Day Melrose Run for Women. Since the race's inception in 1998, the Melrose Running Club has donated over $348,000 to MAAV. And in celebration of MAAV's 30th anniversary, a new event is coming this June. Summerfest will be a family-friendly celebration of the work, the supporters, and the community, all of which have built MAAV into what it is today.
Looking forward to the future, I look forward to supporting the Melrose Alliance Against Violence as advisor to the Student Action Board and participating in all the community programs that we've done in the past and trying to create new ones in the future as well.
MAAV means caring for those we know and those we don't know, caring enough to teach our young people about respect, about healthy relationships, and about changing the world around them.
It's given me an opportunity to consistently get to be connected with community and be able to be a voice for the people that don't have one.
It is an honor to be on the board of directors, and I want to congratulate the Alliance Against Violence for 30 years of amazing work.
A friend of mine once said that MAAV is simply part of the fabric of the community at this point, and I agree with that, and I took it as a very high compliment to the organization.
Whether it's through education, direct support, or prevention, MAAV will continue to be here to provide hope, healing, and connection for the next 30 years and beyond.
At this time, it is my pleasure to invite up MAAV's first executive director, Rebecca Mooney.
Good afternoon. It is my immense honor as we celebrate MAAV's 30th anniversary, to lift up the life and legacy of Joan Bell, president of the board of directors for 20 years and a true hero and champion of MAAV. If Joan were here right now, she actually wouldn't be in the room with us. She would be out in the foyer helping with the t-shirt table or carrying something really heavy into the cafeteria or simply talking with someone that had grabbed her. In other words, she would be doing whatever was needed to keep things running smoothly. She never sought the limelight. Her joy came from helping the organization in every way possible. In addition to leading the board of directors, Joan headed up the walk committee every year. She would be hands-on with our community art projects. She would staff the Victorian Fair table and the Melrose Run for Women table every year. She was on every task force associated with our federal grants for youth violence prevention. If it was a MAAV program or event, Joan was there. And not just there, but fully present, connecting, encouraging, laughing, making everyone around her feel good about being involved. Joan was salt of the earth, with a wonderful sense of humor and a huge heart. Whenever Joan was asked why she got involved with MAAV, she'd say, "I have 3 daughters, and I want them to have a voice." We shared a passion for empowering young people. And although she supported every aspect of MAAV's mission, I think she had a soft spot for our work with young people, the Healthy Relationships Program, the Mentoring Program, the Student Action Board, and more. Behind the scenes, she was my biggest cheerleader, and I couldn't have done the work I did for 25 years without her support. In addition to her volunteer work with MAAV, she was the superintendent of the Parks Department for the city of Melrose, a job with a lot of challenges and responsibilities. Sometimes I'd call her to vent about a frustration, and after hearing about her day, conflicts with contractors, sports teams vying for this playing fields, angry neighbors, I would say, never mind. My issues paled in comparison to hers. But she knew me so well that when I did call and say, "Can we talk?" she'd say, "I'll be there in 10 minutes." Joan was not a texting person or an email person. She was an in-person person. She was one of the best friends I've ever had, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. Joan Bell was devoted to MAAV, to the community of Melrose, to her friends, and most of all, her family, her husband, Barry, her daughters, Samantha, Tegan, and Brooke, and her 5 beautiful grandchildren. They were the lights of her life. Joan left us way too soon, and we miss her dearly. But she left us with a strong and shining legacy, a model for how to live life with love, joy, purpose, humility, and humor. And for that, we are forever grateful. I'd like to invite Madeline Strike up here. She was on the Student Action Board as a high school student, is now a member of the Board of Directors.
Thank you. On behalf of the MAAV Board of Directors, it is my pleasure to announce the creation of the Joan Bell Memorial Scholarship, which will be awarded to a graduating Student Action Board member who embodies the spirit and ever-positive attitude of Joan Bell. The board has determined this award will be granted each year in perpetuity and will carry Joan's name, honoring the many contributions Joan made to the organization during her tenure as the president of the Board of Directors.
Thank you so much, Rebecca and Madeline, and thank you all for being here today. I am very excited to announce that we will now begin the walk. So I think many are familiar, but as a reminder, the walk route will begin by crossing the Fells Way here, going right on Main Street through downtown, taking a right on West Foster Street, and thank you very much to the MPD for helping us cross those streets safely. When we're done, we invite everyone to return to the front of the school for team photos. We'll also have some grab-and-go refreshments, music, and the La Cachara food truck. So with that, it's time. Let's do it.
Storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm,